I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gargano Show!
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to the Anthony Gargano Show here on PHLY. My name is Bill Matz. I am, of course, not Anthony Gargano, but I am your director of fun and games for these next 2 hours as we dive into everything going on here in Philly. And joining me today, it is, well, the star of the show, the one and only VG Violations. Greg, what's going on today?
What's up, Bill? Stoked you're here, ready to talk some wrestling. Let's go.
Absolutely. We can just do 2 hours.
2 hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes. Give the people what they want.
Yes.
Give them what they want.
The Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America would really love if we turned this into a wrestling show. The donations would go through the roof.
Yes.
Make sure everyone out there knows. This week, we are fundraising for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. You can donate right there. There's a little box under the chat that you can hit, send us a donation. And we have fun announcement for you. For anyone who donates $50 or more, not anyone, the first 10 people who donate, maybe there's benefits after that, but let's knock out these 10 and then see where it goes. First 10 people to donate $50 or more, you get a free year subscription to the PHLY Diehard.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice
good.
little savings.
You still
there.
Get the welcome box?
You get everything. You get the merch, the shirt, the whole deal. It is a full subscription, full membership to PHLY Diehard, allphly.com. Donate $50 and it goes to a great cause, the Big Brothers,
you can
Big
write
Sisters.
it off.
It's
like it's
absolutely.
a big discount. You can't beat that.
It's a write-off.
If we get someone donates $500 today, maybe we'll talk some wrestling. Who knows?
We'll wrestle.
Well, yeah.
We'll
the
probably kick
interns
our
wrestle.
butts, but
Hayden and Joey, the interns will wrestle.
Yeah.
No.
How you think? You good enough to wrestle? You think you could probably take a suplex or something? You think that's
possibly
that would go well for you?
I've never done it, but maybe I could.
Just make sure. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. We're probably insured for that.
Oh, totally. Yes.
All right. Lots to get into today. We have a couple of really great guests coming up. Pat McCloone.
From the editor's desk.
From the editor's desk. We have The Grind with Brad Feinberg. That's going to be a ton of fun. But want to lead it off today with those Fightin' Phils, winners of 5 of 6. And of course, today we are brought to you by our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. The Phils, 5 of 6.
Right. They look good. A game out.
Yeah, one game out. If they win tonight, and it's the Marlins, so pretty good chance.
Yep.
And the Mets lose.
With pretty good chance the way they've been playing. They've lost 5 straight.
We are going into a weekend series here at Citizens Bank Park, tied with the Mets, first place for the East on the line. This is pretty freaking awesome.
I love it. And even if they're just a game behind, like Anthony,
even one game back.
Anthony keeps saying we're not going to get butterflies and flutters until the first opening football game. Nah, man, the Mets are here this week, and I'm stoked.
And that's like, I feel like so much of the narrative around this Phillies team is like they're not playing 600 ball. And okay, 595. Sorry,
right.
Like we're talking about them as if, oh yeah, man, they're like a bubble playoff team.
Right.
They're around 500. Maybe if they can add something, yes, they absolutely are a flawed team. Like the lineup needs to be just better. Like all their best players need to be better than they are, and Bryce Harper needs to get back. Sure, that's true. The bullpen, it is a work in progress.
Sure.
But all this said, they're what, 44 and 30?
Yeah.
They're a game out of first place?
Yep. Vegas has got them third best odds to win the World Series out of the National League.
They have the best starting pitching in the league. And this probably isn't like an earth-shattering take. I'm sure someone has made this comparison. But I was just thinking about the Eagles season we just went through.
Yeah.
The 2-2 start, and even as they're, on a winning streak, playing well enough to win, defense becomes elite. The offense just trying to get it together. I'm thinking about this Phillies team, and I'm like, this is kind of similar, right? Like high expectations, but we're not quite sure what our ceiling is because of some of the flaws.
Because of past trauma.
Yeah.
It's PTSD.
And what we've gone through the last couple of years, I think like the Eagles get a little bit more benefit of the doubt than the Phils do, and rightfully so. But like there's a lot of consternation about a team that's like playing pretty damn good. And you look at the team like, okay, they have one elite unit, the pitching staff. That is the Eagles, which became the #1 defense in the league.
Yes.
Comparable. The offense just needs to be good enough, and they have at least a group of stars that you think can get it together at some point, at least for, hey, if they get hot in September, October, yeah, absolutely, they can get this done.
Sure.
And they need pieces, without a doubt, at least one bullpen piece. It would be nice to have more than one everyday outfielder. That would be cool. But, like, even without those things, they're at 595 right now. They're a game out of first. It's hard to wrap my head around sometimes the conversation with this team because it feels as if it's a little negatively predisposed despite how good they've been.
Yeah, because people feel like they've seen this before. We've been through it. We still need bullpen pieces. They remember Kimbrel. We still need outfielder help. It's like Austin Hayes. We've been through it again and again. Kepler's better than Austin Hayes, and I can't believe I believe they're going to be way more active for better pieces this offseason than they have been in the past, just because, not this offseason, this trade deadline, because this offseason, they stunk. They really didn't do anything. I mean, they got Luzardo, which was amazing, but they did not address the bullpen really. Well, they did with Romano, and he's been good, but you can't. The Jose Alvarado's a disaster, and outfield's been a disaster, it feels like, for 5 years now. So people have trepidation, I guess, but they've just won how many games? Five out of six?
It's 6 out of 7 now, I think. 5 out of 6 out of 7.
Without Harper.
Without Bryce Harper, which is huge. He is their best everyday player.
Yes.
And they're doing it without him. It's nice that they're doing even more than staying afloat. They're making a push after what was a pretty bad stretch for them at one point.
Were they out 5 games behind the Mets when Bryce got hurt?
Yeah. And now they've closed the gap and have a chance to take over first this weekend. And
that's with Wheeler missing some time. Nola's missing a ton of time. Like, there's a lot of injuries.
There are like substantial players. Like we're talking Nola, Wheeler, Bryce Harper now. Obviously, the suspension has hurt them. Like,
brutal.
These are like the top end of this lineup. They have missed quite a bit of it, and yet here we are.
Here we are.
That's if they just get a couple of things together. And now listen, we've said that in the past, and it hasn't worked out. So I get it, but I don't know. I am really excited about what's to come this weekend.
And we got chips. Like, Abel is a real. I just saw an article on The Athletic. They're saying Abel, as a starting pitcher, there's no higher value asset you can have at the trade deadline. And the Orioles, you could get Bautista and maybe Cedric Mullins for Abel and some other stuff, just because Abel looks like a legit starting pitcher. And teams will overpay for a starting pitcher.
I think because we have so much of it, and we have for a few years, and it's just, Ranger Suarez, he's like a number 2 now. Like we have all these guys. Just bring in Jesus Luzardo. It's going great. We forget that like most of the league has maybe one guy who gives you over 5 innings a night. Yep. They have such an accumulation of starting pitching talent. I think we take it for granted.
We do, and the Mets had good starting pitching. Their starting pitching has been legit this year, but in the last week they put 2 guys on the IL, McGill and Senga. They've got, I guess they're going to talk about bringing up Freddie Montas, who's been getting shelled in his rehab, and Sean Manaea is coming back at some point, but they're banged up, they're hurt. The Dodgers lineup their injury list on their pitching staff is like a CVS receipt. It's like 30 people deep, it feels like at this point. So I feel really good about them. But I go out and about and watch games out at pubs, and people are into it. They want to watch it, but they're like, every time there's the littlest flaw, there you go.
Yeah, Trey Turner makes an error, and it's like he forgot his glove.
Yes.
Like, he does it. He forgets which hand he throws with every game. Like, I don't know, he's got 5 errors this year. It's not going terrible.
I think I've read the Phillies as a team have the second fewest errors in baseball, and no one would believe that right now.
It is just people go to an extreme with them very quickly, and I get it. We always have Eagles brain.
Yeah, that's just who we are as Philadelphia.
Yeah, it is. In a season that is 10 times as long, we treat every game as if it is an NFL game. And listen, it is fun to be a fan of a team this good where you care that much, but I'm trying to take a step back with them and just go, like, who is head and shoulders above them? Like,
there's nobody.
With their pitching, they have a chance in a series against any team in the league.
Yeah, like right now you have to say the Tigers are playing the best baseball. The Yankees are struggling right now. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Their offense has disappeared. Like, that's what I was arguing with someone yesterday. I was like, who's better than them? Like, who is the complete team? And there is none. This is like totally up for grabs right now. But we're not up for grabs because the Phillies are legit. The Phillies and Dodgers, I think, are the legit contenders.
Yeah, I would have to agree 100%. To last night's game in particular, of course it ended that way.
Of course.
As if there was any other way that could end. a day after Nick Castellanos is benched for a game for complaining, saying something inappropriate after he was taken out for defensive purposes. He comes back into the lineup, isn't replaced defensively in the ninth.
Weirdly,
and the game ends on him going back into his right to snag a fly ball
Andrew,
with men on base.
Do you have the video of that, Andrew? Let's take a look at that. And I think that whole topper. Oh, you got it? Cool.
1-2. Fly ball right field. Going back on it is Castellanos back toward the wall. He's got room. Reaches up. He makes the catch. And the ball game is over.
Love the shirt lift at the end.
And then at the end, he celebrates. And listen, every now and then, maybe he just needed a little kick in the ass. And making this public the way it was. Rob Thompson could have said anything.
Yes.
He could have said anything, why Casty wasn't in the lineup for the 268th straight game or whatever it was. And his Iron Man streak.
Right.
He could be like, his hamstring hurts, or he didn't get any sleep last night.
Yeah, or whatever.
Everyone on the team is hurt. It's just not unbelievable that he'd be banged up too.
Right.
And no, he purposefully comes out and says,
a good point. Yeah.
He said something inappropriate when I took him out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, my guess, pure guess, is he made a comment about, that's a great idea. Take my bat out with this bullpen, something of that nature.
I think that it carried over from the Toronto series because I was looking back and there was a play he missed on a Ernie Clemens ball, and Topper said that he mistimed his jump, and Nick in the later quote said, "Nah, it was over my head. No matter how high I jumped, I couldn't have got it." So they had a little squabble in the press with the quotes, and I think that carried over. And then when Topper took him out, he's just like, "What the?"
And there's this team is so everyone's cool. It's a good time. I think you need every now and then a little bit of that, and we hear so much Rob Thompson's just in there. He's basically Bryce Harper's yes man. He's just in this role because they all think he's cool.
He's a player's coach. He's a pushover.
All he's doing is pushing buttons.
Right.
They tell him to challenge something, he challenges something. Whatever it is. Assert a little bit of your authority and kind of wake everyone up, change the dynamic. And it's the Marlins. They need to win tonight to close out the series with a W. I expect them to.
You would think.
If you're gonna do it, great opportunity, and it all works out.
It all worked out. Everything's fine.
I did appreciate though. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a breakdown of how Casty has become a serviceable enough defensive outfielder, and it's all about you're great when you're coming in and make that sliding move that he's basically made his signature. You're great coming in this way. When you have to go that way is when you're terrible, and that's exactly what he had to do to make the catch last night.
Yeah, well, he's not.
It still made the catch.
He's not even really serviceable when you break down the stats. He's ranked pretty much as the last or bottom 3 defensive outfielder in all of baseball. He's not. So for him to have any attitude coming out for defensive reasons, and I get it was weird that Topper made a decision now in this game we're going to do it. Maybe it was a statement from the weekend games, but he stinks in the outfield. He literally defensively stinks.
Now, after asserting a little bit of authority and benching him,
yes,
is it odd that then he didn't take him out again? Maybe there was a conversation. Who knows? But
it made no sense that he didn't come out again.
Or maybe it's Topper's looking at this bullpen going, probably need to keep his bat in the line. Maybe it's just as simple as that. But it's odd that he didn't take him out then, right?
Totally odd. It made no sense after that happened the night before.
After this whole thing.
Yes, and you expect him to come out and be super happy, smiling, high-fiving Topper after he gets pulled. But nothing but Topper. It makes no sense. And that could be confusing. Topper, people don't really like Topper in this team.
No, they don't.
He's super polarizing. So again, that's another confusing thing. He does some things that are confusing, but it works overall. I mean, the guy manages the clubhouse. The team plays well together.
I think that's the most important thing, especially at this point where what manager isn't being dictated to by a computer?
Right.
I want to know who this team is that isn't making their decisions based on that. And quite leaving Casty in there is kind of going up against that. But I think people look at that and go what does he actually do? My question is, what does any manager do?
No, they all do the same thing. It's almost the same in basketball. Maybe I think football is almost the same with a head coach. You just got to manage these egos and keep everyone their confidence up and everyone cool.
And in keeping with the comparison to the Super Bowl champion Eagles, isn't this exactly what we asked about Nick
Yes.
Sirianni? Like, what does he actually even do?
Right, just
Well,
be the vibes guy.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
it seems to be working.
Right,
And
exceedingly well.
we absolutely have questions about this Phillies team, but I'm freaking excited about what could happen this weekend with this team and
Dude,
taking
I'm
over
all-
first place.
I am
and going
all in on this
head
weekend.
to head with the Mets. There's just nothing better than beating the Mets. There's nothing worse than losing to the Mets.
Yeah.
Listen, I felt that last year as well. It was terrible. Now let's extract at least a small measure of revenge this weekend.
Yeah, and they're feeling good about themselves. They're in first place. They're gonna have fans down here, but they're
Always do.
they're leaking oil right now. So I would love to just go down there and see them get pummeled.
No, and
those- not the fans get pummeled. The team get pummeled, and the fans be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well-
yeah, absolutely. No, and that's
No pummeling of any Mets fans, please.
Mets kind of
Maybe
leaking
one.
oil right now. When they swept us in
Yeah.
late April, it was in the middle of a Phillies 5-game losing streak, which is, I think, tied for their longest of the season.
Mhm.
It's all about timing. We say that going into the playoffs. Like, are the bats hot or not going in? Are they hot going into each series? This is maybe the chance to catch them and start to build a lead in the East, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the opportunity. We're getting them at the exact right time.
Yeah, and they built that 5-game lead. They beat up a bunch of bad teams, and the same thing the Phillies did like 3 weeks earlier to get their lead. I'm ready to go this weekend. The Mets don't even have a pitcher for Friday and tomorrow night. They're gonna have to call up a spot starter. They're saying.
What I am really looking forward to, we've got all national games this week, this weekend against the Mets.
Every game's nationally televised.
It's Apple Friday, which is hilarious, then Fox, then ESPN.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's
Sunday night baseball.
little national spotlight.
Yeah.
Ends with Sunday night baseball, but I am looking forward to the call from my parents about Apple TV.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
hates.
How do I get the game?
Like, you're still signed in from last time.
Yeah.
I promise.
It's not that hard.
Just tell your remote. You talk to it.
Every bar owner at pub, they're like,
Oh my God, yeah. No, that is kind of that's got to be a pain in the ass for like any random bar out there that's huge Phillies Friday night game.
Yeah,
Mets,
Mets,
like they're
Phillies,
tied
first
for first
place.
or a game down. Yeah, we don't have it. Sorry.
You got to bring like a fire stick.
That's
and
yeah.
plug
You're
it
bringing
in.
your stuff from home.
Yes.
That has to suck. But
Yeah.
it's kind of cool
Yeah.
getting a little national spotlight going into the.
For sure, yeah. But I have the bartender friends who have to, Friday night they need people in there watching the games. So
Absolutely.
they bring the fire sticks
Yeah,
down.
you got to do it. What, are you gonna not have the game on?
Right.
No, come on. Can't do that.
Ranger Suarez. Yeah, I like how Rich put it in his PHLY newsletter this
That
morning.
newsletter's fantastic.
It's great. If you're not subscribed, check
Yeah.
out Rich Hoffman's newsletter. Get in your inbox every morning. Great stuff.
Yeah.
But basically,
I don't know when he sleeps.
Yeah, that Ranger Suarez first game was a major league rehab assignment,
Yep.
pretty much.
Completely.
Since then, 8 starts, 6-1 with a 1.17.
Yeah, he's like on a Cy Young
Just-
pace.
Yeah, just like doesn't lose, doesn't give up.
Right.
He 8 strikeouts yesterday. He has been fantastic. He has been exactly the guy from the first half last year.
It's bewildering because he's got such underwhelming speed and velocity, but his placement and he makes such soft contact he generates. He's throwing the ball like 92 miles per hour. That usually gets roped in this league. But he's just been, and his fielding, he made the one easy play, then he makes the error, but he's unfazed. He's like unflappable. He threw a throwing error and he doesn't lose his cool. He's just always composed.
And it's such like he is such a good fielder. We've had talk about Gold Gloves in the past. And when he makes the error, maybe that would throw him a little because he
Right.
is so good.
Right.
Just I'll get the next guy. It's fine.
Exactly.
And he's really, really impressive. And he's just another one of those, like, is he even their second best pitcher?
Yeah.
And he's been outstanding. Just another one of these awesome depth pieces.
And maybe I'm an idiot. I do like Nola. I think Nola, with this rest and stuff, I think he's going to come. I just let him rest and let him be healthy for like the last half of the season. Let him come strong. He's pitched so many innings over the last few years.
We talked last
Rest
time.
him up.
Last
Bryce,
time,
rest him up. They're winning. Let these guys rest.
I think last time I was on, we said, like, listen, is he the guy who, finished Cy Young, second in Cy Young voting a few years ago? No, he's not that guy anymore. But you can count on him for 200 innings and 200 strikeouts.
Is he Joe Bland, which Johnny Mark says
Yeah,
he
and
is?
now
No.
it's like the
No.
numbers line up. But like that's the role we're gonna ask him to fill at this point, and he's
Right.
better than Joe Blanton.
Sure, yeah.
Like, this isn't. I don't think like the worst thing in the world with their pitching. Yeah, I expect him to come back if it's August and He looks fine. Great. That's another piece.
Another piece. And the kid, Painter, finally turning around again. His last outing was good. His velocity's up, swing and misses. He might be coming up. I mean, I don't understand. I feel it's the bats. The bats are what worry everyone. And we just need Jamie shredded Stott yesterday, and Stott comes out with a home run. You got video? Jamie
I have the clip. Yep. Yep.
We just need Jamie to do it more often.
Maybe.
Bryson Stott's got to get sent down. He's got to get his groove back.
Yeah, dude, I
He's
don't.
got horrible at bats right now. He's got 3 options left. Use it. Give him 2 weeks down there to see some balls.
You don't need to send him down.
He stinks.
I don't disagree, but you
Wow.
don't need to send him down.
Why? Why have options
Because
if you can't
what
use
does
them?
it do? Like the other day,
He's got to go rope some AAA pitching and get his groove
over
back.
the weekend. He actually had good at bats. They weren't full, but he had good at bats.
He's hitting 188.
He's not
3-run bomb last night. Just get Jamie every day to rip Stott.
It is nice seeing him drive a ball just because it just talk about weak contact. So it's been rough.
And he's another one. It just makes no sense. He's not consistent because you see him do it for a small stretch and then he's terrible for a long stretch.
All right, coming up in a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by Pat McCloone from the editor's desk. That's going to be great. First, I got to turn it over to VG for a little talk about Rothman.
Wow, let's talk about Rothman. These people are doing God's work. They literally saved my life with my broken neck. They saved Frazier, was miserable and a ton of pain with his neck. He looks great. So this is what they do. They get you back to what you love, and especially this summer. Let's talk about it. Whether you're biking by the Schuylkill, whether you're chasing kids through the sprinkler, tackling that hiking trail, or just sometimes maybe just getting out of bed in the morning. It's tough when your body doesn't cooperate, and that's where Rothman Orthopedics comes in. You know, from aches after a pickup game to old injuries flaring up on summer adventures, they got a team of experts there to help you. With evidence-based care and a commitment to restoring your mobility, they'll get you back out there and stronger than ever. You should see Frazier's neck. It's ridiculous right now. So don't let pain. Yeah, dude, you look good. Don't let pain put your summer on pause. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to book your appointment today and get back to doing what you love pain-free. Rothman Orthopedics, getting you back to your summer game is their mission. rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics.
Yeah, that's how good Rothman is. Andrew in a neck brace a couple of weeks ago. Now he's ready to take a suplex.
He's even got a minimal scarring.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
great.
they really did a great job. From top to bottom, everything was fantastic.
All right. I got to tell you about the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino because Philadelphia baseball, well, we have won 6 of 7 games and trail the our New York rivals by only 1. And you've got a live bet Philly baseball tonight as they look to close out their series at Miami with a W, and they've got Chris Sanchez on the mound to do it. You can bet on who will hit home runs. You can bet pitcher strikeouts, hits, RBI, and so much more. The live betting is just better on Bet Parks. That's what it comes down to. The Bet Parks app is my sportsbook of choice because you can bet on things like Philadelphia to score a run in the first. A $25 wager pays $48.75 tonight. But whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino app. You got to check out the brand new casino games like Huff and More Puff.
Yeah, I love Huff and More Puff.
And Fireblaze Sky Queen, which is a Bet Parks exclusive. The only app I ever use and recommend to bet on sports and to play all my favorite casino games in the palm of my hand. You've got the blackjack, you've got the roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, the online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, Cleopatra, so many slot options, including all those online games and your favorite streaming shows like Walking Dead, Squid Game, Breaking Bad, all of your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are, whether you're at home or on the go. Bet Parks is the casino and sportsbook app of choice. And new users, you can get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. An offer too good to pass up. Just go to betparks.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You have to be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for Bet Parks. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. Bet Parks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sanchez over 5.5 strikeouts on Bet Parks, -104. Like it.
Oh, yeah, over 5.5 Ks against the Marlins?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's do it.
Really, really enjoying, really love that Bet Parks Sportsbook app. I am looking forward to this Mets series, and I think we are going to get a great test of the Phils over the next couple of weeks. 9 of the next 11 series up against teams over 500.
Yep.
The other two, Atlanta and the Angels, who are only 1 game under. We're going to, while I think some of the convo around the team right now, all right, it's overly negative, I think we're going to get a better idea of who they actually are in the next month.
The Angels have been. We talked about them yesterday. The Angels are like sneaky, pesky good. Yeah, this is going to be a good test. I think Bryce comes back. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce comes back tomorrow. He's eligible today. I think it was the 19th or the 20th. He's eligible to come back.
That would be pretty freaking cool if all of a sudden he just shows up good to go against the Mets.
Because I feel like they said that he was clear. He's clear to play. It's whenever he wants to.
It's his. When is he comfortable?
Yeah,
sort
when
of
he's
thing
comfortable.
They keep saying.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, and now we are joined from the editor's desk. It is our great friend Pat McCloone joining us today. Welcome to the Gargano program. I, of course, am not Anthony. What's up, Pat?
Extra, read all about it.
This just in, ladies and gentlemen, and all the ships at sea. It's time for headlines from the editor's desk with Pat McCloone.
What's up, Pat?
Bill, VG, how are you, boys?
Good.
What's going on today, Pat?
Anthony acts like there's absolutely nothing going on in the sports world until 77 days from now. But just listening to your conversation and going over the headlines, I think we're going to prove the old boy wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking over some of your headlines, I'm really excited for this segment. It is my first time getting to talk to you, Pat. So I'm looking forward to this. So take it away, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to kick it off in honor of that Bill Matz. We're going to go right to the hockey.
Oh, I love
right
it.
to the hockey. And as Bill knows, I've met Bill in part because I'm in need. Sometimes it's my weak spot, and I go right to the man, and Bill's been a big help, and I appreciate that. But our headline on that is the Sunshine and Stanley Cup State.
Ugh.
So here we are. 4 out of the last 5 Stanley Cup champions are from the state of Florida. It's a shame it wasn't Tampa. There they go. They're the boys. They banged up that cup a little bit from what I understand yesterday.
Yeah, I think they dented and cracked the cup in their celebration. So it's been taking some hits lately. Things always happen to the cup. I love that teams put their mark on it. Yeah, Mario Lemieux lost it in his pool once.
How big is that pool?
That's always my question. Like, is his pool the ocean?
How is that possible?
I think they had to drain it to get it out, but it seems as if they are having a great time celebrating back-to-backs down there.
Pat, you really could have went with headline Florida man breaks cup.
Yeah. Yes. And if Tampa won this year, we might have been able to go with a little thunder and lightning. But we'll see.
You're always thinking of this headline guy.
And so, Bill, I kind of turn it over to you in the sense that, you win it twice in a row. It's no fluke. And from what I can tell, this is just a team that's just solid from bottom to top, from line 1 to line 4. How they doing?
No, that's absolutely what it is you look at some of the 5-on-5 scoring numbers, and it's like, oh yeah, their third line outscores teams 22-5 over the course of a series, and it's like, okay, where would you put Anton Lundell on their list of most important players? Well, he's got as many 5-on-5 points as Connor McDavid. He's like their 6th most important guy. Things like that. It is just a really solid team. Built for the playoffs, obviously. They've won the East 3 straight years, back-to-back cups. They have put together this combination of skill and an identity that is, 1, really fun to watch, and 2, almost impossible to beat.
Well, it seemed like they were decent in the regular season, but then the Seth Jones and Marchand acquisitions just made them playoff unstoppable.
It's absolutely huge when you're able to get impact players like that, and basically now with the conditions being met Marchand goes for basically what Scott Lawton went for.
Right.
It's maybe a
like
little
a
less.
second round pick or something?
It was a second. It's now become a first because he played a certain number of playoff games. Like the Flyers also got, a prospect too.
Right.
It just Bill Zito down in Florida he's a magician. He just makes it work, and they go after. They're a lot like Vegas in that, we're going to make the big move and figure it out later. And they go get Brad Marchand, they get Seth Jones, and here they are, back-to-back champs.
Hey, if Dombrowski can do 1/4 as well as Zito did getting Marchand, we'll be pretty happy at that trade deadline.
You complain about Austin Hayes? Come on,
right.
Man.
And you got to give him credit too, Marchand. I mean, you're playing for the one team for like 15 years, and you could go down there kind of with a bad attitude or whatever. He goes down there and he's getting the last laugh. Meanwhile, our as if Canada, we haven't given Canada enough reason to be mad. I mean, that's rough. What is it now, Bill? 8 times that they haven't won since they've been in a final since '93 in Montreal. It's a long time. A lot of teams.
They have teams that are right there a ton, and I thought this was it. I thought this was the year where Connor McDavid finally ends it. The best player in the world takes over, ends the drought, and the country that revolves around that sport just can't win its biggest prize, at least the club level prize.
So who do you think are the Edmonton Oilers the best chance they have? Is Toronto get it together next year? Who's the closest now? Now looking back, projected in next year.
I would say Edmonton has the best chance because they have the best player in the world and another top 5 forward. And it just seems like if you do the bare minimum, you're back in the Cup final again, or at least in the Final Four. Toronto could make some moves that puts them in actual contention, but it's the Maple Leafs. I'm never going to believe in them. They will have to be having the parade, and I'll be like, yeah, they have a chance. Like that's it. That's the position they've put themselves in.
You can't even with the Cup winning Berube there. You still
I like Craig Berube a lot, and they did become a heavier, harder to play against team, but what happened in Game 7 at home again?
Right.
They got trounced.
Right.
Moving on to the other league, we have a Game 6 tonight, and the headline is, can Indiana keep pace? And it's been a good final. They could hit the wall here. A lot of it comes down to whether this guy's hurt or not, Halliburton. If he's gimping, I would say forget about it. And I think the Pacers blew it in Game 4. There was a lot of people that thought whoever won Game 4 would win the series, and I kind of felt the same way. That would have put the Pacers up 3-1. I think they would have gotten one of those 3. The Thunder turned the tables on them because the Pacers were up much of that game. OKC turns it around, and they tie it at 2, and now it looks like OKC is going to win the whole thing. How do you guys see that?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it just Halliburton's playing on one hamstring. He's got a hamstring issue, right? And he just doesn't. He doesn't look himself. They look better with McConnell on the floor the other night. So I think they close. I think this one gets closed out tonight.
Yeah, it really.
We got
feels
one more
like
look
that's
at
the
the amazing story that's TJ McConnell, though.
Unbelievable.
And he was crazy in that third quarter the other night. I think he had 15 points.
Yeah, in like
Just
14
amazing.
minutes or 16 minutes. And he's had a great series. It's unbelievable the career he's made for himself after he was here.
We're looking at Florida. Let's assume OKC wins it. They're a team that I don't know that they're a big dominant dynasty team, but they're a team that's built to come back.
They're set up to be a
real
dynasty.
young. I mean, SGA's young, Williams is young, Chet's young, Dort's young. And they have an obscene amount of draft picks.
like 20 first-round draft picks in the next 8 years.
Yeah, they control
they
the
have
board
11
for the next
draft
decade.
picks between now and 2030, including that the Sixers are eventually going to have to pay with the draft pick there, which, as
they
bad
have
as
2
this
first-round picks this year. They're going to win the championship, and they have 2 first-round picks. And then they have
and at some point they're going to get
first-round picks the
pick
following year.
For Al Horford.
Yeah, nuts.
God help us.
Yeah,
the next thing I want to do, guys, I'm going to go with I'm going to switch Andrew up a little, and I'm going to go with double blockbusters, because if we're going to look back at what happened on the week in sports, it's very rare that you get two trades of this magnitude. And in the NBA, you have the Desmond Bain trade. And in baseball, you have Rafael Devers. I'll start with Bain and just go over it. You know, I think people that casually watch the NBA have an idea who Desmond Bain is, but don't know how good he is. He's a real good player who shoots over 40% from three. But is Desmond Bain this good? Orlando gives up Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, the number 16 pick in the draft, their 2026 first-round pick, which they have a swap with the Suns, so that could wind up being an unbelievable pick, a 2028 first, a 2030 first, a 2029 swap.
Right.
That's an incredible haul for that, and I'll just bear with me 1 minute because it'll get to my main point. Last year, the Knicks for Mikal Bridges, who everybody from here likes, Great Valley's Mikal and Villanova's Mikal Bridges, they give up 5 first-round draft picks for Bridges. So my point here, and I am going to fall back on Rich Hoffman's newsletter as well. Rich does an unbelievable job on that. I just tell people if, you just want to be able to be conversant in sports and know a little bit, boy, you look at that thing from Rich, you are set.
100%.
But anyway, I was thinking about that in terms of Rich's newsletter. All I said, guys, is Rich makes the point. How is Nico Harrison still employed? Look at that haul you get for Bain. Look at the haul they get for Bridges. He is one of the best players in the league in Luka, and he gets AD and a swap of a first-round draft pick. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's what happens when you make the deal with the devil. I mean, he ships over Luka to the Lakers. He ends up with the first pick overall. I mean, that's how he's still there. It's all backdoor dealing, man. That's what I believe.
It's one hell of a TV show, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous.
Andrew, could we call this trade the big deal?
We could call it the big deal.
Can we call this the big deal presented by Cherry Hill Jeep?
Nice.
Make sure you check out Cherry Hill. Oh, is it Mitsubishi today? Because I can't say that word.
No, it's Jeep. Yeah,
Cherry
I put
Hill
the wrong
Jeep.
one up.
Thank God. I got killed yesterday for not being able to say it. But yeah, Cherry Hill Jeep, the big deal. Check out Cherry Hill Jeep. Cherry Hill.
You're unable to say it.
Yeah, I say Mitsubishi, which is apparently wrong.
Yeah,
it's Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi.
I don't say. I can't. That's not something that comes out of my mouth.
Nice.
Sorry about that.
Nice quick fingers by Andrew there to segue right in from Bill's thought of the big deal. But just imagine, you're right about the deal with the devil, VG. If you put Luka on the open market, there's teams that are willing to give up 5-6 first-round draft picks like these knuckleheads for Bain and Mikal.
At a minimum. Plus a slew of players.
Right.
The NBA frustrates me to no end. Of all the leagues, I'm more frustrated with the NBA than anything.
I agree with you. As good as the playoffs have been, I'm still not forgiving them for having it's okay if you have a team or two tanking, but you can't have 7 or 8. Right. It was ridiculous how many teams they had doing that.
And they seem to be okay with it. I don't know.
They sure do. To me, Silver's got to do something about that because you're pissing off a lot of fans in a lot of towns that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the ratings are.
Force all of them to hire the Colangelo family. Like everyone gets a Colangelo family member
and a burner phone.
Yeah, and of course
that'll serve them right. That'll serve them right. Now, meanwhile, in baseball, the Red Sox get rid of Rafael Devers, and they get 2 pitchers, Jordan King and Cale Harrison. The best thing was a prospect. I think this James Tibbs was the 6th best prospect in baseball, and another prospect pitcher. And they get that for Devers, and that's interesting for a lot of reasons, including that these Giants might hang around. This is a team the Phillies got to be concerned about when they get into the wild card or if they get into the playoffs. They're knocking on the door for first place, and most people listen. Willie Mays and Barry Bonds and Buster Posey don't play in San Francisco anymore. a lot of it's a no-name team. They spent big money on Willie Adames.
Mm-hmm.
I looked the other night; he was hitting a robust 201 for them.
Yeah, he's had a rough
And
start.
Wilmer Flores is over 50 RBIs, and I like that center fielder Jung-Ho Lee they have, but it's a little bit of a no-name team. Their most homers they had was Chapman with 12. Now they get the big bat in the middle, and they got two good pitchers, Robbie Ray, Logan Webb, and we might have to start looking at these Giants as a pretty legit team, guys.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing they were missing was a good power bat. I had seen a list of the last time teams have had a hitter that had 30 home runs, and I think it's been like close to 30 years with the Giants, or like 20 years. The Giants have some astronomical gap between the last time they've had someone hit 30 home runs. And Devers, I mean, he's a top 10 bat in baseball. It's a great move by them. I think you're right. That makes them a contender. I was slighting them, but I think that dramatically improves our lineup. Buster Posey's been doing a great job as a GM there.
Yeah, that was a big swing for sure.
And then the kicker of it all is like Devers wouldn't play first base, and then he goes to San Fran. He's like, "I'll play wherever you guys want. I'm cool. You want me to play first base? I'll play first base." What a JO.
So let's have a headline that'll make for some positive talk before we come in with the big bopper about the Sixers. Because I'm bringing a gigantic sledgehammer to that last headline.
We got a trigger warning ready.
Yes. And
trigger warning is ready.
So the headline for the Phillies is the up-down drill. If you remember, that's a football term about, in the summer having to do up-down drills.
Hate those drills.
Yeah, and it's obscene how much of a roller coaster this season's been. I mean, it really jumps on me because I get an opportunity, which I enjoy, to talk to, you guys so much once a week. I had a week I couldn't swing it there, and it was 2 weeks. And I just noticed that, like, from show to show, it's like positive Phillies, negative Phillies, positive Phillies. The last show I did, they were coming off a 1-9, and I was talking about a really good Dave Murphy column about how they're not filling in with that layer of up and comers, and that group is Bohm, Marsh, Stott, and Kerkering. And Stott was quiet until last night.
Yes.
Wins the game for them. Bohm's been terrific. Marsh is average. It's crazy. He was at like 120, and he keeps coming up and up. And I feel like he has a double or triple every game now.
He's hitting like 330 over his last 30 games.
I'm sorry?
Marsh hitting like 330 over the last 35, 36 games.
I bet. Yeah, that's a good number. And then Kerkering. Last night I heard people whining that they didn't use Kerkering in the ninth. All of a sudden, Kerkering might be the closer, and his numbers have been sneaky great. So it's just one thing after another. There was the excuse me, guys. Let's hope we don't get we're not going to get it. I will eliminate the possibility that the Mets series is going to go like it did the last time. But it's just a crazy up and down thing with the Phillies. And you would love to think they're going to be in a prolonged run here. But Bill made the great point about the schedule they're running into. So if they have a prolonged good run here, they're really doing something good. And when you come back and look at it, they're one game out of first place. So I don't know why you can't just sit back and say, hey, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, that was really like our conversation to start. It feels like it's been this roller coaster, and they did have that terrible 9 out of 10 stretch. But overall, 44-30, not too bad when on June 19th. I'll take it. One game out of first place. Mm-hmm. If some of those young guys, like you mentioned, and they're not even that young anymore.
Nah, they're middle-aged.
We're all thinking of like it's still 2022, and it is not.
No.
Like these guys
should be in their prime.
In the primes of their career. But if they can kind of step up, especially while Harper is out, there's no reason they can't be in first place at the end of this.
Yeah, and it's cool that they've, hung tough and actually, gained a lot of ground without Harper. And, a guy that, we didn't even mention, I'm not sure he got mentioned. I listened to the whole thing from 9 to 925 is that what a run Trey Turner's been on. He's been fabulous.
Nobody's got more hits in baseball, right?
Yeah, I saw his numbers put up against Francisco Lindor, who I can't stand the Mets, but I got to grudgingly admit what a nice player he is. And his numbers compare really favorably to Lindor this year. And Lindor's having a hell of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trey has been, I feel like there's a lot of negative predisposition to Trey Turner. And then you look up and look at the numbers and go, oh, has he been their best player? Yes, I feel he has. It's going very well. Finally, it seems for a prolonged stretch here with Trey, and it's very nice to see because they badly need it.
Yeah, Anthony said when the season started, like Trey's pretty much the engine. Trey's got to have a good year, and he is. And look at that, or a game out of first place. And
all right, let me set up this last one, fellas.
Yes.
Let me set up this last one.
Oh boy,
the headline is. That's strong work, Andrew. The headline is Sixers bursting with busts. And just to look back, we did this at the NFL draft. Anthony VG and I went over some Eagles busts. I only had like 7, and VG more. He rightly told me there were more. And this is just one. And we will get back to that. That's going back in the day, and I occasionally like to trot out a Daily News front and back page, and we're doing it there. But I had no problem coming up with 10 busts for the draft. And let me tell you a little bit about the format. Some people play golf with their dads. Some people take them to the Phillies game. Some guys go to the bar. I had my 4 sons over to whack up the Sixers draft busts.
Oh, man, a little family affair. I like it.
It was a family affair. Pat, Brendan, Dan, and Tom all had their say.
Nice.
They had to move me in one direction, and I didn't want to get moved on. So
are you
I
going
actually had solid, and I give credit to my oldest son, Pat, for coming up with the 10th. I didn't want to go back too far, but I had to with this one. Number 10, gentlemen, I give you Dana Lewis.
Who?
Dana Lewis was the 12th pick in the draft in the first round by the Sixers out of Santa Clara. I have a firm grasp on how many games Dana Lewis played in the NBA.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
0. Daniel Day-Lewis probably could have been better with his left foot. Dana Lewis played 0 games. And get this. He wasn't trying to crack the Moses, Barkley, Tony Cheeks lineup. He was trying to crack the lineup that a year later would be the worst team in NBA history. It's hard to believe.
What year is this? Like 72?
71.
71, yes, 12th
73 is when
overall.
they went 9 and 73.
Oh, man.
How bad are you? Here's what happens. They draft him. He's on the team. They play 3 games. He doesn't get in, and they cut him.
They cut him.
They just flat out
cut him in the first
They
year.
flat out cut him. And he never played. And it's not like everybody was tripping over each other to pick him up.
What?
He never played a game in the NBA.
What?
I remember.
And the Sixers are so bad. I have that at number 10.
That's number 10?
That's the
Okay.
Flyers fired a coach 3 games into the season once, but it wasn't the guy's entire career. Like that was it. They just sent him home. He had to go get his real estate license.
Right. First pick.
Right.
Their 12th pick in the
overall
first
pick.
round. Oh,
And
man.
by all means, VG, like you did on the Eagles thing, you had some good pushback and some good observations. Anything you and Bill had, by all means.
I don't think I'm going to have any pushbacks
That's
on this list.
Tremendous.
Okay. Number 9, 1998, Larry Hughes.
Oh.
Now, Larry's there at number 9, not because he was a horrible player. He was drafted at like age 19 out of St. Louis, I believe. And he was he was 19 years old. He had a lot of potential. He was a big combo guard. But the reason Larry Hughes is there is because he was drafted at 8. At 9, Paul Pierce was drafted.
Yep.
And at 10, Dirk Nowitzki was drafted. But the Sixers got Larry Hughes.
Wasn't that the case where Larry Brown promised his parents or something, or promised him?
Something like that. There was some kind of relationship there.
Ugh.
And only the Sixers.
Two
Hall of Famers.
That one year, though, what did they call them on the broad? I think it was him and AI were the Flight Brothers.
Is that what they were called?
It was something like that. I think it was Flight Brothers. I was like 9 or 10 at the time. I thought that was so cool. Looking back, it wasn't.
He never took flight.
Never took
Number 8, 2013. And boy, were the 2010 to 2020 good to this bus list.
2013.
Nerlens Noel. Now, Nerlens gets drafted at 6. He made the NBA. He played several years. He was an NBA player. But he wasn't even close to the 6th pick in the draft. And the thing that makes that worse is the Sixers actually didn't draft him that day. They made a trade that day. And this is 2013, boys. 12 years ago. They gave up Drew Holiday to get Nerlens Noel, and 12 years later, franchises are clamoring to have the defensive presence and veteran leadership of Drew Holiday.
How many rings does he have at this point?
This is a depressing list. I'm going to be honest with you here, Pat.
All right. Now, I'd be very interested in what you guys think of this one, because I'm acceding to my son's wishes. I would have had this guy way higher, but there was a little bit of, there wasn't total democracy, because I put my foot down on number 1. But at number 7, we had that Ben Simmons. See, I would have put Simmons higher. My boys pushed back, saying he made the All-Star team a couple times. He made the All-Defensive team a couple times. But I pushed back just because of what a horrible person and player he was. And to make a Father's Day link, my youngest son, Tom, was kind enough to call me the day before Father's Day a couple years ago and said, "Hey, Dad, I got tickets to the Sixers game. Let's go. It's Father's Day," which was really nice of him. It was Game 7 against the Hawks. And we got to enjoy the father-son experience of Ben Simmons passing up that layup under the basket and then blowing that game. Now, I can tell you, having observed that game and been in the house, that at halftime, this is before Simmons did that, I was focused completely on Simmons. And he was at the foul line. And you knew what a terrible foul shooter he was. I watched and counted. Ben Simmons made 18 of 19 shots from the foul line at halftime. There was something wrong with my man's head. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
I'm like struggling. Like, does he qualify as a bust? Because he wasn't bad for when he was in there.
That's exactly where my boys are saying. Yes.
But he's such a loser that it's doesn't matter how good he actually was.
Right.
You cannot win with him. You certainly can't win with him as one of the focal points of your team. It's not as if he didn't get cut 3 games into his career before even touching the court, you know?
Yeah.
But he's such a loser player I think you have to call him a bust. Yeah.
It's weird because he was a consensus 1-2 pick. Everyone would have taken him, but yeah, I don't.
Right.
It's harsh words calling him a loser, but
I mean,
I think it fits.
He is a losing type player.
Yes.
If you're able to go, 80, 90% from the line when you're just sitting there shooting, and then the lights turn on and you are a 60% at best, you're a loser.
Right.
You're going to be the reason your team loses.
Agreed.
That is more than fair. Number 6, and I should have given VG a heads up here because he's the master of all voices. And this guy had like a cartoon character voice to make everything else bad. Number 6 is Evan Turner.
Oh, man. He was like a Muppet. You're right.
Yeah, he sounded like a Muppet.
Yes.
And a lot of this has to do with time and place. He was the 2nd pick in the draft. And, it was a lousy draft. John Wall went 1, and the guys right after him were Derek Favors and Boogie Cousins. So that's no big, you got to put it in that context.
Right.
But only the Sixers get first-round picks, second pick, the 3rd pick. And here they are again with the 3rd pick. And then when they get them, they get the 2nd pick in a 1-player draft, the 3rd pick in a 1-player draft, the 6th pick in a 5-player draft. And Turner was the 2nd pick, and he was just a guy,
He was just a guy, but he did look damn good at Ohio State. I thought he was going to be a player.
Okay.
But
Number 5, and I got to qualify this because I kind of feel horrible putting this guy in the list because of what's happened in his life. God bless him. Number 5 is Sean Bradley, another guy that was picked twice. And for those who don't know, Sean Bradley, 7'3" out of Brigham Young. Poor Sean Bradley is a paraplegic.
Yeah.
Sean Bradley, a few years ago, was driving his bicycle over in that, Utah area or whatever, and he got clipped by a young woman, and he got tossed off his bike. And it's just been horrible because in addition to everything that would be horrible about his injury, the world is not equipped for 7'3" paraplegics. And he's found that all the stuff that's needed is hard to deal with or whatever. And so, it was rough. But when they picked him, the 2nd pick in the draft, Chris Webber went 1. I can still see Jim Bradley saying he's got size. He's a skyscraper. And that's why they like him. Yeah. And the 3rd pick in the draft right after was Penny Hardaway. And the Sixers go Sean Bradley.
I mean,
so
the next 3
he
after
deserves to be on the list. But
the next 3 after him, Hardaway, Jamal Mashburn, Isaiah Ryder, all nice careers.
Yes, no doubt about it. And I could have put anywhere from 4 to 8 were kind of toss-ups. Larry Hughes was there at 9 and was a good player, but I had to put that in perspective. Number 4, I have that Jahlil Okafor.
Game just passed him
3rd
by.
pick in 2015. And my God, did the Sixers from 2015 to 2018, that's about as bad as it could be every year. I would say 2013 to 2018, but they did get Joel Embiid in 2014. But here you are with Okafor. Cat gets picked first, Karl Anthony Towns, then D'Angelo Russell. And the Sixers are sitting there. And Okafor was a good player at Duke. They pick him at 3, and Porzingis goes at 4. And Okafor's problem was simple. People used to always say that guy can't jump over the Saturday Daily News because you guys all remember how thin the Daily News was on Saturday. This guy came into the NBA and he couldn't jump over to Saturday Daily News. But he would make all these smart post moves, and then he would turn around and nobody cared what his moves were because when he put the ball up, somebody was just going to swat it.
Got stuffed by the rim.
He's still bouncing around. I don't think he's in the league, but he's still playing
in Puerto Rico. He's in the same league that Cousins just got kicked out of. Or suspended.
Yeah. But does he wake up in the morning and put up 20 and 10 in Puerto Rico?
I have to look up what his record. I think that's the problem with that draft. Wasn't Porzingis? Didn't his agent say he wanted to go to New York? He didn't want to play in Philly.
Yes. It could have been. It could have been a factor.
I believe that's true. Yeah, I believe that was like kind
almost
of
like, why are they drafting a big slow guy when they already had Embiid? But I think Porzingis had said he did not want to play here. Smart.
So Okafor now can't jump over the San Juan Post Standard or whatever they have down there. All right, now this is the medal stand, boys. 1, 2, and 3. And this is what defines our 76ers. This is truly incredible. At number 3, even though it was the 10th pick, I'm going to 2018 with the Mikal Bridges draft.
Oh, disaster.
It was only too obvious to have Mikal Bridges, the definition in a dictionary of a 3-and-D player who's had an incredible career, who came up earlier in our conversation because of being traded for 5 draft picks. And the Sixers trade him. Not only do they trade him for like a 6'5" power forward, really, in Zaire Smith, who they compared, we talked last week, they compared him to who?
Kawhi Leonard, did they say?
They compared him to Kawhi Leonard. He couldn't play as well as former Overbrook and San Francisco Giants slugger Jeff Leonard.
They never specified what version of Leonard.
Right.
It's the one who was load managing. It was Leonard on his nights
That's
off.
Right. That's exactly what happened, Bill. But they trade him, and Smith, when they drafted him, he was honorable mention Big 12. Honorable mention. And they pick him with a 10th pick in the draft. The poor guy had a couple of allergies and a lot of injuries. Didn't play. Believe it or not, he's still in the G League.
He's still in the G League?
Still in the G League.
Awesome. At some point, you got to say, all right, it's not happening. Is he 9 years in the G League?
Yeah. And if there's come on. I mean, if there was something that
I admire the
was
perseverance.
untapped, it would have been tapped by now, boys.
Hey, you think you go overseas or something? By the way, Okafor is averaging 14 points and 4 boards in the Puerto Rico League.
Yeah, there's probably a 6'5" guy leading the league in rebounding who's sticking his ass under the boards because he can't jump. So that's there. Our silver medalist, and here's where I put my foot down. My 4 boys said this was number 1. And I'm going to beg to differ, being an older man. At number 2, we have Markelle Fultz. And that just kicks you for so many different reasons.
Man, I might be with you.
First of all, they trade with the Celtics, give the Celtics an advantage.
Right.
The Celtics walk away with the cream of the draft. It's not like the Sixers drafted Fultz and then everybody was falling over each other to get Tatum. Tatum went 3rd. Lonzo Ball went 2nd to the Bulls, I think. And we come up with Markelle Fultz, and he's got a nervous tick, and he's got all these things that only happen to the Sixers. And Mike Sealski had a fabulous column this week, and I really agree with him, and it's relevant to this week. Excuse me. Mike says that the Sixers need to stay away from Ace Bailey, and he even mentioned Dylan Harper. And somewhere along the trail, VG, it dawned on me that you can segue from one of your great ad cutouts and the NBA draft to say Ace is not the place.
Oh.
The Sixers. But he said no Ace, no Harper, based on the fact that they couldn't make their team win. And when you look back, LSU got worse with Ben Simmons. Markelle Fultz was only a freshman. He had a great year, but they were like 9-20.
Yep.
And so Mike's saying, got to have a guy that makes a positive impact on your team. And I think Mike's right. And I think that was the thing that needed to be looked at with Fultz.
It's just, it really is only the Sixers draft a guy for his shooting, and he forgets how. He just forgets. Like, oh yeah, I was able to do that last year, but it's gone now. Also, I can't lift my arm above like my neck.
He was a guy
unbelievable.
I thought he had fleas coming in, and people say revisionist history. I did not. I watched a lot of Fultz games just because I was staying up late and betting West Coast basketball that year. And he just seemed like he did not like the game. If the ball wasn't in his hand, he was mopey. He didn't play defense. Yeah, he could score it in the Pac-12, but I don't know. I hated that pick. And he is that. I think I'm surprised if you got something better than that. If that's not number one,
That's tough to beat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here, let me take my shot.
Here. That
I'm
should be the
go
gold
back to
medal.
our headline. I'm going to go back to the year I was married, 1986.
Ooh.
And I'm going back. And what really set me to think about doing this was I'm driving back from the shore. And Tracy and I often listen to podcasts to and fro. And I saw a little social media hit that Barkley was on the Kelsey's podcast. And Barkley, as both an athlete and as a guy who was a friend of the Daily News, and I've had some personal dealings with, and I think the world of Charles Barkley, I wanted to listen to Barkley. And then he set this up. In 1986, he went to bed knowing that he was going to have a team with him and Doc and Mo Cheeks, and they were going to have Brad Doherty, the number 1 pick in the draft. And they're sitting there, and they're going to have Brad Doherty, an 8-time All-Star, terrific player, 6'10", averaged more than 10 rebounds a game in his career, would have taken a lot of that weight off of Charles and an aging Moses. And Barkley gets a call at 6 a.m. from Phil Jasner, God rest Phil, NBA writer for us for the Sixers. And he's flipping out. What are you calling me for? He goes, I'm so sorry, Charles, but I wanted your reaction to the trade. What trade, man? And the Sixers, only the Sixers, would in 24 hours dismantle the franchise. They pass on the number 1 pick in the draft and trade it for like a 6'9", nice guy to have around from Rutgers named Roy Hinton, who had played 3 years in Cleveland and was solid, but he was solid. And that was that. And then they doubled down that same day and trade Moses Malone and Terry Catledge to the Bullets for Jeff Ruland, who was in the position Embiid's in now.
No cartilage.
A bone-on-bone knee guy. And I got my notes behind me. I can't reach him. I think Ruland only played 10 games for the Sixers, was totally injured, the poor guy. He was a good player. They thought he was going to be this, like,
I don't know what they thought he was going to be. I guess.
It's incredible. In the same day,
he played 5 games for the Sixers.
In its own merit, was pathetic. And Moses went and had a couple more solid seasons for the Sixers, and it's just incredible. Now, the only thing that would have been more incredible is if they made the 2nd pick in the draft, because that year the best player in the draft went 2nd, and he went to the Celtics, and it was Len Bias. And boy, could he play. And Len never played a game because he overdosed. That seems like, it's amazing that didn't happen to the Sixers, but they managed to make it worse than that. And I would argue that that was worse than drafting Markelle Fultz.
When you get the reason of why they did not draft Brad Doherty, because Harold Katz played pickup basketball in the driveway with them and thought he was soft. Like, are you kidding me?
He was very soft.
You might be right.
Over 10 rebounds throughout his career.
It's given the full context of that and that it does, like, Fultz is just bad.
Right.
But this is like you said, dismantling the franchise.
Yes. And Cleveland walks away with Doherty, and they end up drafting Ron Harper later on. Great draft for them.
Unbelievable.
Disaster for Philadelphia.
So I appreciate you boys indulging me there, but that is a solid 10 in my
yeah.
belief.
That is, I don't know if solid is the word, but I would say I need a drink now, Pat. You've successfully
That's right.
You've successfully kicked in that trigger for me this morning. This has been from the editor's desk. Thank you so much, Pat, for joining us today. Really enjoyed the headlines and especially that list there. That is going to drive me to the bar at 11:05.
Man. I hate that team right now. I really do want an expansion team. I want the Sonics to come here as an expansion team. I want to redo the Sonics.
There you go.
There you go. All right, thank you, Pat.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Pat.
it.
See you guys.
All right, that was from the editor's desk with Pat McCloone. This hour brought to you by our friends at Bet Parks. That's right, Parks Casino. And now we have to take a quick break, so VG can tell you about Ashley Furniture.
Ashley Furniture. It's time to spruce up that house a little bit with some new furniture. Spring's here. Flowers are blooming. Allergies are blooming. And low prices are blooming over at Ashley. You can save up to 50% right now off living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms and have it all delivered for free. Plus, you get long-term no-interest financing. You can also save on top brand mattresses and get free delivery, setup, and the removal. So you don't have to be one of those people with their mattress on the sidewalk in one of those weird bags. But don't wait. Spring in the savings isn't going to last forever. It's only happening now at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. Financing is with approved credit. Minimum purchase is required. Some exclusions, of course, may apply. So see a store for complete details. Hurry to an Ashley Furniture store in South Jersey and Philadelphia, or visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information on this spring savings sale.
And now I've got to tell you about our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union and one of the outstanding benefits of being a member of TrueMark, because summer's here and that means the kids, well, they're out and about, they're hanging with friends, and they're maybe even picking up that first summer job. And that makes it the perfect time to set them up with something that teaches real-world money skills and gives them a little bit of freedom. It's the Greenlight Debit Card and Money app. That's right. Because if you're a TrueMark Financial member, you can get a free Greenlight account for your kids or teens. It's a simple way for them to manage their own money, whether it's from a job, allowance, or even just their birthday cash. And they'll get their own debit card. They can set savings goals, track their spending, and learn how to budget. I probably could have used this as a child.
Me too. I wish this program was around when I was a kid. I would have signed myself up for it.
And into adulthood, this would be a great thing for me. All while you, the parents, stay in the loop from your phone. You're still in control, but they get to learn how money really works in everyday life. So before the summer rush kicks in, this is a great way to help your kids build smart money habits that'll stick with them long after the season's over. Head over to TrueMark.com/Greenlight and get all the details and sign up today. Don't miss the chance to set your kids up for financial success.
VG, your tan milk is the talk of the town right now.
Hey, man, it's a nice tan milk. I like it.
Tan milk with ice.
A little oat milk, a little dirty oat milk. It's a chai tea, a cold chai latte.
Tan milk.
We are going to be joined in a few minutes by Brad Feinberg. Oh, he's here. Outstanding. Great. It is now time for The Grind with Brad Feinberg.
Brain. Brad the Brain Feinberg.
Brain. Where are you?
Good morning to you guys. How are you?
This guy's always on the move.
I'm on the move, man.
Are you coming back
from
from
about
Boston
to visit
now?
my daughter.
Coming
What's
back?
that?
Coming back from Boston now?
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
still
yeah?
here. Like about to visit my daughter as soon as I'm off with you. And and then
On the
off to
agenda.
Cape Cod.
You guys going out for brunch, some lunch?
Yeah, like just I'm gonna hang out like at her apartment here for a little bit before she goes to work, and then we're gonna go to I'm going to Cape Cod after that.
Nice. You say you're going to Provincetown?
I've not gone to Provincetown. No. We're going to Cape Cod and what's the other one? Nantucket.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How'd you do last night, Brad? I was undefeated because half my games got postponed due to rain.
Good. Hey, good for you. Well, you know what? If I listened to Anthony, I would have been undefeated. We went 2-1. The Yankees got basically shut out again.
What is going on with that offense right now? They
didn't learn my lesson.
It's Judge and a bunch
they
of
struggled
nothing.
to score. They struggled to score, so I did not. We won the other two, and we won the Ballpark's combo play of the day, which made me very happy.
Oh,
We
hell
hit
yeah.
like I think it was a 2-something underdog on that, which was at least nice. Hopefully some people had that as well. But yeah, we're 2-1. I think we're 98 and 86.
All right.
Yeah,
I was
98 and
0 on
86.
55 and 52.
All right, buddy.
What do you think? Where's your head at for tonight's basketball game?
Man, it's a lot of uncertainties, right? I always like to deal uncertainties. And, listen, again, I don't know. Everyone, I mean, unless you're like an Indiana player or an Indiana coach or Tyrese Halliburton or a team doctor, to a certain extent, you're guessing on Halliburton's health and his effectiveness, what it will, what it won't be. I hate dealing in that world. Again, I like to deal when I know what's what. So for me, and the line's gone up. I think it's 6.5 now, if I'm not mistaken.
It just went up a half point within like the last half hour.
It was 6 before we started.
Yeah, it's 6.5 now.
I mean, look, it's
So
just it's a game. I'm
how do you
not going to be
play?
betting this
What
game.
advice, if you want to wait till tip off, what are you looking for? How would you play?
Well, what I would do is, here's what I would do, and I do this all the time. I would look to live bet. Now, if Halliburton plays, right, and you're getting, let's say, an extra 1.5 because of the uncertainty on him, this line could have been 5. I think it opened at 5, actually. If Halliburton looks, quote unquote, right, and he's he's not limited, and he looks relatively good, maybe it's all right. Listen, they're pricing this as a 6.5 point spread throughout the game. I think Halliburton looks fine. I'm getting, Indiana could be the side based on the fact that he looks okay, or vice versa. If you see Halliburton doesn't look right and he's really struggling out there, and they're trying to put a fish out of water, so to speak, and they're just playing him because he's their best player, but he's not effective. Maybe you say, you know what? This line should be higher because this guy can't go right now. That's how I would personally look at it. And again, but for me, I'm definitely not betting the game beforehand. Too much uncertainty for me.
What do you think about? I'm looking now on BetPark. So TJ McConnell's minus 139 to get 10 points.
Well, I mean, VG, if you remember, I mean, I bet him in the playoffs over 6.5 points. No joke, probably like 12 games. I'm like 10-2 doing it. So I love TJ, but now again, it's gone from 6.5 to 9.5. It's obviously a difference, a huge difference. Now, again, they're doing that because they're basically telling you with that line.
Right.
They're telling you they think there's a very, very, very good chance that Halliburton's not going to play. So if I was a betting man, and guess what, I am, I don't think Halliburton's going to play tonight. Based off nothing I know, I have not heard anything from anyone other than the fact that when I saw McConnell's over under VG, and when I see the line go from 5 to 6.5, kind of telling you, while they're not putting both feet in the pool, they're dipping 1.5 feet in, saying there's a good chance he's not going to play. So because of that, they've raised McConnell, but McConnell would even be higher for sure if Halliburton was announced out. They haven't announced that yet, but I say it's 75-25 he doesn't play.
Right. Even if he does play, he's probably going to be limited. I don't know. He
Probably so.
Terrible
Again,
the other day.
VG, I always like to say, I mean, me, you, everyone, and you can't help it, but to a certain extent, when you make a bet or wager, we all, and we don't mean to do it, but everyone does it. You treat these guys, like I say, like a John Madden character, not a human being. Look, I know when I have like 102-degree temperature, if you ask me to play an NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA game with 102-degree temperature, where I'm like, oh, yeah, well, like I know I couldn't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if I had a severe hamstring injury or calf injury like Halliburton, and you're asking me to play against the best athletes in the world and be like, oh, no big deal. It's a huge deal.
Right.
But when these guys play, you have the mentality, oh, he's playing, he's fine. But you don't know. I mean, again, these athletes just are so tough. We take it for granted how tough they are, how they battle through stuff. But the average bear has no clue to me. Like, man, he's not 100%. And there's a fine line between being great, being good, being average, being out of the league. And, Tyreek Hill runs like a 4.240. Yeah, you take off 0.4 of a second, which is nothing, right? 0.4 of a second. What's 0.4 of a second? He's out of the NFL. So it's not a huge line. So if Halliburton's not healthy, it could change everything.
Hey, before we get to our baseball picks, I wanted to just tap in the last segment we did with Pat. He was going over the worst Sixers draft busts of all time. You're a huge Sixers fan. His top 1 and 2, I want to see if you agree. He had Fultz as the second worst draft pick, and Brad Doherty, he went way back as the worst draft pick or the worst move.
No, that was a trade.
Yeah, it was actually them trading out of the number one spot for Roy Hinson. Was
draft
worse.
debacles was really the
that would in terms of draft debacles, that whole thing, although trading Moses I think was a little overrated, to be honest, because he was at that point older. But Brad Daugherty, did he make the Hall of Fame, guys?
I mean,
do you know that?
If not, he probably should. I mean, he
if
was
not, he probably
all-star.
should. That, if you're going just by that, if that counts,
yes.
If that counts,
what's the worst move? Drafting Fultz or trading the number one overall pick, which was Brad Daugherty, for Roy Hinson?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna give you my answer here, because I'm going like 2 levels deep.
All right.
I believe if the Celtics kept that pick, they were taking Jason Tatum. They played poker. They knew they were going to win the hand, but they weren't taking Fultz. They were going to take Tatum either way. So for me, I would say the Brad Daugherty trade.
Wow, you agree? You agree with Pat the editor?
Because to me, they were going to take Fultz either way.
They didn't have to take
Fultz either way.
They could have played.
Fultz,
they could have played Danny Ainge. I mean, like, we're taking Fultz. Bam, we got the number one pick. We're taking Jason Tatum.
No, but they were taking Jason Tatum. Like, they've said that. Like, they said they had no interest in Fultz. By the way, again, the Fultz thing, I'll never forget as long as I live. I know people who were there in the building that day. I've seen the videos. I've said this before, VG. When you watch a golfer putt, pro golfer, not me. You watch a pro golfer putt from 40 feet away. He always comes within 2 feet, right? These guys are so good. When you watch an NBA player, supposed to be a guy who's a shooting guard, shoot the ball from 20 feet, 23 feet, the ball either goes in or misses by a fraction of an inch and goes in and out, or just misses. Markelle Fultz made Ben Simmons look like Steph Curry in his workout. To me, if I had that information, again, I always say you choose in life to be consistent or to be right. They choose to be consistent. They could knock it off the hand. This guy's that great. If I saw a guy who's supposed to be this good, bricking shot after shot after shot, I'd be like, oh my God. Thank God we didn't just go down this road. Something's up with this guy. I don't know what it is, but these guys don't miss shots by 5 feet that clank off the side of the backboard and stuff like that, like Fultz was doing in his workout. But I believe, Ainge, that they were not going to take him, and that was never on the card for them. I don't think that's a lie. I don't think that's hyperbole at all. But VG, here's my last argument on that. That whole trade through a smorgasbord of events led to them getting Tyrese Maxey. And you can't, it's just that is what happened. It was like A, then B, then B, then C. They ended up getting a pick in a Mike Muscala trade. Through that trade, which led to the 21st pick or 22nd pick, which became Tyrese Maxey. So Fultz became Maxey. So when you do the entire thing, if you're being fair about it, which I always try to be fair, it really wasn't that horrific at all. In reality, he was the second best player in that draft. So that's how I'm weirdly looking at that one. But going back to the worst picks, that was a really, really bad one. The Brad Daugherty one was horrible. And yeah, I heard you guys talking about Okafor. That was extremely disappointing. Yeah. When they had the second pick in the draft, guys, they traded Keith Van Horn for what? Tim Thomas. Yes. And I don't know if they've gotten that, but that was pretty bad.
That didn't even make top 10.
No, that has to. How can that make the top 10?
Yeah. Hey,
how can that not make the top 10?
Brain, the Keith Van Horn one didn't make the top 10.
Hey,
I don't know.
Should have.
Yeah,
should have.
Maybe it was honorable mention.
And then of course the Mikal Bridges for the Texas Tech kid, that obviously is on there. Yeah, I mean, there's a nice list. I mean, I'm sure there's like a lot. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you could, say that. Oh, oh my God! Wait, this had to be number one. Sean Bradley.
He was top 5.
I think he was 3rd or 4th.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel bad about what happened to him. I think that swayed the voters.
I felt horrible. Right.
Yeah,
okay. Because to me, Sean Bradley would be number 1 because that was what Weber or Hardaway were surrounded by him.
I don't know. We had one to number 10, Dana Lewis.
Dana Lewis, yeah.
In like 1972.
Cut after 3 games.
He was the number 2 pick. He was cut after he played 5 games for the Sixers, who were the worst team.
Is that really? Wait, VG, did you guys look that up? He was the number 2 pick in the draft?
What was he?
I think he was 12th in 71.
12th.
And they cut him after he didn't touch the floor through 3 games, I think he said.
He's a number 1 pick.
Wow.
The Sixers were the worst team in basketball. He might have been their 12th pick. He played 5 games and was cut and never played basketball again anywhere.
That's like a Kevin Allen, like
Yes.
Danny Watkins kind of
Yes.
brilliance. Well, I never heard. That's a good one. I can't argue that. What was the rest of the top? I'm curious if you don't mind reading it.
Dude, you know my memory. I can't remember that stuff. Hey, we started the show off talking about how there's like consternation with the Phillies and Philly fans, and as a bettor, not as a Phillies fan, as a bettor, like where do you see the Phillies lining up with the rest of the National League? Are they right there with them? Do you think there's people that are the Dodgers heads and tails better than them?
Well, okay, first of all, VG, like baseball just inherently is a sport. I don't care if you go, obviously no one's going to go 162-0, but even if you went 162-0, the sport inherently speaking, once the playoffs start, I don't want to say it's all luck, but man, it is just so easy for the quote unquote inferior team to win. Because look at it like this, VG. The worst teams in baseball, I'm not talking the Rockies this year or the White Sox last year, but the worst teams traditionally win 40% of their games. Think about that. The worst teams in baseball usually go 4-6. So it's not a sport where it's like Roger Federer against me and you in tennis, right? It's a sport where the worst teams can still easily win 2 out of 5 games. So in baseball, I think if the Phillies make the playoffs, which hopefully they should and will, they absolutely can match up with these teams. Now, the Dodgers have a ton of injuries with their pitching staff, but look, their pitching with Sanchez, Suarez has been great, and obviously Wheeler's probably the best pitcher in the National League, I think. They absolutely could beat any of these teams. I'd love to add another bat. Nola comes back, that would be great. But I think the thing that would hurt them the most, VG, is the bullpen. That to me is where, I mean, Strom's decent and Kerkering I kind of like, but I just don't see much help in the bullpen. And I think in games like that, these games are going to be 2-2, 3-3, lower scoring games. They're going to come down to, can you hold your opponent down for 2, 3, 4 innings at a time until that next team could just score that one run? That's where I think the Phillies fall short. But no, I absolutely think they match up with any of these teams. But the Mets, I think in theory, if you ask me to do a power rankings, I'd go Dodgers, Mets, Phillies.
Wow, you still go Mets, huh?
Well, the Mets have a great team, VG. They really do. I mean, I mean, assuming they get Senga back, they have really good starting pitching as well. I just try again. And their lineup, I think, is better than the Phillies.
McGill's on the IL. I don't know if they got a great pitching staff right now.
Well, I said if Senga comes back, they're going to have Senga, who's leads the league in ERA. He's obviously really good. They're going to have. I'm just trying to.
Peterson.
Combs
having a nice year.
Peterson. You know what's funny with Peterson? He's a guy that at some point you just have to say, all right, maybe I just was wrong on the guy. He's been terrific. He hasn't had a bad start like in 2 years. At what point you say, all right, he's not just some slop throwing guy. He's pretty effective. And then Clay Holmes has been terrific. They made a great. Give them credit.
I can't.
He was
I'm not giving the Mets credit on anything, Brad.
Absolutely refused.
Failed
closer. Show for that.
Failed closer who was okay, as decent as a closer, not great. They turned him into a starter. He was like he's been really, really good. And I think their hitting is great. I think their hitting is really good with Alonso and Lindor, Juan Soto. I love McNeil. I think he's really good. I think they just have a really tough lineup. I still think Alvarez at catcher is going to be good. Yeah, I think the Mets are a little bit better than the Phillies. They saw slight differences, though. By the way, I made a bet yesterday night. I took the Phillies plus 200 to win the division. So I did make a large bet on that at that.
Great.
So always betting the odds, guys. Always betting the odds. But I think the Phillies absolutely have a chance.
Who you like tonight?
Tonight? Listen, I got to start out with the Phillies Parks combo today. 1-game winning streak. Can we make it a 2-game winning streak? That is the question. That is the question. Not easy to do it, but I'm going to try. And we can get, let me pull it up right now. We can get plus 220. We're going to take Phillies, of course, taking the Phillies with Sanchez, and we're going to go under 7.5 runs. Now, here's the thing. When I look at that, the pitcher for the Marlins, Cabrera, Cabrera is not an easy guy to hit. He's erratic, but he actually has good stuff. And the Phillies bats haven't been great right now. I think the Phillies just smells like a 5-2 Phillies win. I think we're going to sneak the under in, and the Phillies win plus 220. Our Phillies Parks combo play today. And our first bet of the day, our first official bet, I'll give you a prop. Carlos Rondon over 6.5 strikeouts. While the Yankees bats have been struggling, guys, their pitching's been fine. And Rondon 10-5 for the year. And the Angels, talk about matchups. Out of 30 teams in baseball, they've struck out 29th most. 10-5 for the year, leads the league in strikeouts. They're 29th out of 30. I'll take my chances. He goes over 6.5 strikeouts. Plus the juice was low. My first bet of the day.
All right, I'm just sticking with my one from yesterday. It got postponed. I'm taking, Tigers run line today with Scuba on the mound versus the Pirates.
Can't argue that. You never go wrong with Scooble. I'm going to go Tampa Bay Rays in the game. We're going to take the line a small price. I think it was like $1.30. So last I checked. Rasmussen over Morton. Now Morton's been better recently, guys. Impossible not to be better than what he started out. But I love Rasmussen. I love the way the Rays are playing. They're a good team. Like they would actually like my biggest team is the Rays. If they make the playoffs, I'll be a happy man. I think the Rays win this one. I think $1.30 is too late. I think it's more like $1.65 kind of game. So I like Tampa Bay in the game. Second play of the day.
I'm going to stick with the Cardinals and White Sox. Fetty's on the mound. I'm going to do a run line again with them, but that's plus 115.
Nice take there. And again, can't argue that. Cardinals, good offense against a team that can't score. Fetty solid. I agree with that side, VG. I'm going to go under 4.5 runs. We talked about Clay Holmes before. Under 4.5 runs in the 5-inning line. Strider versus Holmes. Strider pitched a shutout in this last game. Maybe getting back in the form of the Strider that we saw that was arguably the best pitcher in the world against Clay Holmes has been great all year. Two good offenses, I get it, but I always take pitching over hitting. I'm going to go under 4.5 runs, Strider Holmes. My third bet of the day.
All right, I'm going back to soccer. I cleansed my palate yesterday by not taking any.
Hey.
I'm going FC Porto minus 112 in regulation versus Inter Miami.
Ooh.
You don't like that?
Ooh.
No?
Yeah,
like
Messi doesn't like it.
Get out of here.
No, that's a good one.
All right, I'll give you one last one from me.
Yeah.
Look, it's been good in the playoffs, 16-5. I'm just going to not buck the trend. Miles Turner under 1.5 threes.
Cool. No play on Angel Reese bricking her first shot.
Well, I mean, if I could, why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. By the way, do you guys? I gotta just say, on a side note, I can't stand. If you knew my dislike, you heard me go off on the Devers trade. My dislike for virtually every WNBA player. I feel like saying to every one of you. You are so dumb. See my thumb, because you just don't get it. You don't get it. This Caitlin Clark is literally,
dude. They're beating her up every game. Every game she's getting annihilated.
I can't take it, Vij. It's like, are you kidding me? And what does the league do? They're like, I would say, are you just this obtuse to not realize if it wasn't for her, your relevance would be like the one of my neck hairs, maybe less. Okay.
Wait, you got neck hairs?
Less. I said less. My neck hairs are worth something. I agree. But to me, this WNBA and the players take cheap shot after cheap shot in her, and the fact the commissioner forget protecting her. Someone needs to explain it to me. I can't stand the WNBA.
It's like you got to wrestle in shirt. It's like wrestling meets like she's just getting just hammered with body checks and stuff.
It's crazy. No other sport does this happen.
No.
I'm glad that VG. I love that you noticed it.
Yeah, because every day my timeline on Twitter, it's like, man, she's getting just beat up again and again. Like, I was having a discussion with someone yesterday. Is she a horrible trash talker? Like, is she nasty on the floor that makes this happen? Like, I don't understand it.
I will say this: when I watch her, and again, she's literally the only one I actually really truly enjoy watching. I don't. This may sound dumb, but outside of Steph Curry, I think she's like the best shooter I've seen.
Yeah.
In terms of range, Damian Lillard maybe. In terms of range, when you watch her, she pulls up from 35 feet, like not 2 feet past. Yeah, she's actually a phenomenal athlete to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And phenomenal athlete. Like I'm not saying she's better than players in the past, maybe Cheryl Miller or way back Lynette Woodard. I know there's some players who were great women's players back in the day who, and again, I don't pretend to have the knowledge to put her up with the all-time greats. But man, I could only tell you this. When I watch her, in my limited knowledge, I think she's the best one I've seen. I think she's absolutely spectacular. And the hatred for her, get a life. She's helping every one of you. Sorry, how to do it.
Good rant. All right, safe travels, Brain.
Appreciate you guys both.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Brad Feinberg. This is The Grind, presented by Bet Parks. And now I got to take a quick second to tell you about Parks Casino. Listen, everybody knows, even if you're not a regular, I'm here now and then, but whenever I catch the Gargano show, I am well aware that everybody here loves their music. And I'm excited to tell you who will be rocking the Excite Center at Parks Casino, my casino of choice located in the Philly burbs and so close to my home in New Jersey, less than 2 hours from New York, less than an hour from Delaware. It's the spot, man. It's really right there for everybody.
Right off 95.
Yeah, you get off 95 and you're
basically there.
Yeah, it's outstanding. So here's what they have coming up at the Excite Center. Thursday, July 3rd. It is Gary Clark Jr.
Here come old Flap Top, he come
grooving up slowly. I absolutely love one of the great guitarists out there, Gary Clark. Saturday, September 6th, we've got UB40 coming to town.
Red wine.
Saturday, September 20th, the Australian Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here 50th anniversary.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell?
Now, should you try to do it with the Australian accent?
That's
because it's the Australian.
I know, but most
I don't really know how to do.
Don't they really sound American?
How do you think you can tell?
There you go.
Heaven from hell.
There you go.
That's really bad.
Friday, September 26th, we've got the Revivalists, roots rock with a modern twist. And the tour, it's called All in the Family, 10 Years of Men Amongst Mountains. Saturday, October 4th, it's Kansas. That's right. Some real classic rock.
Carry on your wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.
Lay your weary head to red. Don't scratch up.
Friday, October 10th, they've got the Psychedelic Furs and guest Gary Newman.
Pretty in pink, isn't she? Gary Newman is here in my car. In cars burning.
This is the one I've been looking forward to since I heard you guys practicing this morning. Friday, October 24th, it's the Sparkle and Fade 30th anniversary tour for Everclear.
We could live behind the ocean, leave the fire behind. Swim out past the breakers, watch the world die.
The following day, it's a tribute to Queen with Almost Queen.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide to escape from reality.
And then all the way, Saturday, November 15th, it's Bill Murray and his blood brothers. He slimed me, Ray.
Can't go wrong with Bill. You can't go wrong with Bill Murray. Just to be in a room with Bill Murray's got to be cool.
It has to be amazing. You can do that and get tickets to all the events at parkscasino.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And while we're here, let me tell you about Empire Today. That's right, 1-800-588-2300. Empire Today. Just like your favorite team needs that home floor advantage, your home needs that home floor advantage as well. At Empire Today, they can help you get it, and it's real simple. I've been telling my audience on the Flyers show for months, Empire Today, it's the place for new flooring. Why? Because they have the flooring experts, people who live and breathe flooring. It's not like walking into a big box store and, hey, if you can even find someone to talk to, you realize pretty quickly they are not an expert. They cannot help you. They were stocking light bulbs yesterday. They're going to be taking orders out to people's cars tomorrow. This is just one of their many responsibilities. At Empire, that's not the case. Not only don't you have to go, they can bring the showroom right to you, but when they do, you have an expert in your corner. And those in-home estimates, they are outstanding. Who wants to take the measurements, do all this yourself, realize halfway through you need a contractor? That's not the way it is. They come to your home, take the precise measurements, and show you how your flooring will look in your space up against your paint colors, your furniture, however you need it done. And you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day, so there's no need to wait. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, and because some things are just better at home, and PHLY listeners, listen up. You can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right. $350 off with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHLY for details.
It's a lot of money, $350 off.
It is. It's considerable.
Yeah.
And it's Empire. I mean, just for the jingle alone, legendary.
Right. Legendary. As a jingle guy, yeah, it's so legendary.
It's I miss, like, it's awesome that there are basically no commercials in my life outside of, you know, live sports. I do miss a good commercial though, you know? Like,
yeah, it's been a
something that's
I can't
like,
remember the
it's
last
part
one
of
that
you.
just
Yeah.
became part of the zeitgeist, like the Where's the Beef or just something.
Like Flo has been around for 100
Yes,
years now.
yeah.
Like that was like when I was in middle school, Flo got the job.
Change it up a little bit.
Yeah. So something that came up when we were talking to Pat, just thinking about these Sixers drafts, it's their luck, man. Like, yes, there's some just dumb stuff. They've screwed up plenty of times.
Yes.
But some of it just comes down to how bad the luck is. Like, okay, we're rebuilding. We're gonna do the process. And it's like, yeah, none of these drafts are all that great. Yeah, there's nothing here. And the one guy we got, well, his back, knees, and feet are a ticking time bomb. So let's cross our fingers.
Even when they get the pick they want,
yes,
it's an underwhelming crop of prospects.
So
they're cursed.
Over on the Flyers show, Charlie and I have this theory. In the summer of 2010, the building changed names. The Wells Fargo Center became the Wells Fargo Center. Now, listen, that Cup final didn't exactly go the way we wanted, but I think the way things have gone since then, we would take that again. Now that the building, they are losing the Wells Fargo name, we have a theory that the curse is going to go with it, because both teams have just had the absolute worst freaking luck ever since the name change.
I hope you're right.
Can you get on board with this?
I can buy into it. I wish they would do a little something else though, like change the name. And also, I live with a pagan. We're big in our house about saging every couple months to change up the energy. Like, if they could just blast a bunch of sage smudge smoke through the rafters down onto the court and the seats, I would be into it. They need to do
a witch doctor.
They need
a medicine man.
Something.
Somebody.
Yes.
Something.
They need the Pedro Serrano, like a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Like, we need Joe Boo. We need the Buddha. We need literally anything we can get to just change what has gone on for the two teams that inhabit that building.
Yes. And I think we were all partial as a fan base to the FU Center.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's us.
It should be. It's the Xfinity Mobile Arena now.
Yes.
Just
Xbox.
Give us a parentheses, formerly the FU Center. Like, just we love that, the FU Center. It'll always be the FU Center for me.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping you're right, man, because there's something. I feel like it's more so with the Sixers than the Flyers, but there's something going on down there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on an old burial spot or something
It
happening.
must be.
It's not. Something's not
What
right.
happened at RFK? Like, what went on there prior?
JFK.
What's shady stuff?
JFK. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Even when things seem to be going these teams' way.
Yes.
Like, oh no, actually,
Disaster.
Fooled you.
Right.
It's really the way it goes.
Circumstances that are just not even normal.
And it looks like at least for now, weird stuff going to continue happening with the Sixers, because Ace Bailey just
Ace Bailey. Like, you got to be kidding me with this guy.
So he hasn't met with any team.
Anyone.
He believes himself to be the third prospect. He's on, I think, third on ESPN's big board. But he had a meeting scheduled with the Sixers, canceled it. Was just like, actually, on second thought, I'm good. Never mind. I kind of find it hilarious. Like, I like anyone who's gonna, because if this was a Sixers specific thing, like, all right.
Yes.
That's kind of, now you don't like me.
Right.
Now you have a problem with me. But I like anyone who's going to try to say F the system and go again. Like, I don't need to do any of that. I'm going third. And if I don't, you're a problem. But what is he getting out of this?
So what's going on? So there are some people saying that, all right, someone at 5 or 6 has promised him and he wants to go there, but I don't know why you'd want to do that and take less money. Maybe his workouts have been terrible.
So he's just like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, maybe his agent's just like, we can't have you working out. Like, and he may just be nervous or something. It doesn't.
These are red flags.
He's private. He's got a lot of red flags.
So
I'm actually glad he's canceling, because I'm not in the Ace camp at the number 3 pick. But yeah, there's something's happening, because it's not just the Sixers. He's not working out for anyone.
Yeah, and that's like John Marks this morning tweeted, like, if he's avoiding the Sixers because they're a bad organization and they've had very little success, this century.
It didn't stop him from going to Rutgers.
All right, yeah,
it's not like they're a powerhouse.
And he could be eyeing Washington and New Orleans. Are these? Did they just sell for $10 billion and I got it wrong? The Lakers story, these are
Washington.
These are bad These are as bad. I have no love for the Sixers as a franchise right now. They are a better organization than those two. Those two are, they barely exist in my mind.
Yes, but New Orleans is a good city. I mean, if I'm going to go to a place,
I forget they have a basketball
I would put
team.
New Orleans on the list.
I freaking love going to New Orleans.
I wouldn't mind going there.
The Pelicans existing is something I forget about all the time. I can't imagine it's that. And they've brought up this idea of path to stardom. He's not blocked. Who's
blocking them?
The Sixers have the third pick for a reason. Who's blocking any? If you're good enough, you're gonna freaking play. This is not a good team.
No, this reeks of something. I just think he's been in private workouts. I just think he's been bad, and they don't want to put him in front of people. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense.
The only thing about scheduling and then canceling to me is we started to see those rumors. Maybe the Sixers are trading back to 5. Maybe they can attach Paul George, get out of that. Not really lose a ton in terms of the draft capital. Maybe it's I'm not going 5. I'm going before that. That is the only thing that made a little bit of sense to me.
But he would, I don't know. I feel like he has to think his game tape is just enough at this point. But if whoever they trade with, he's still got to convince that you would think that person, unless it's the Pelicans, unless someone is yo, we're trading up with the Sixers and we're grabbing you.
That he has been told we are trading for that pick.
Yes, and we're
to
taking
draft you.
Right.
And so he's like, what?
Yeah, why work out for anybody?
I'm not going to work today.
Yeah, right.
Listen, that sounds great.
Yeah, if I'm 18,
yeah,
sure.
That sounds like a cool deal. The
sit
thing
back,
is,
put your feet up, and wait to get drafted. Yeah, that's what I'd be in for.
It just seems like I don't know what he's getting out of this. How is this making you look better as someone essentially interviewing for your career?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's a disaster.
I don't see how this benefits you in any way, unless, like you said, the workouts are so bad. It's you're going 8th.
They're the only two things that can make sense.
It has to be.
Or it's just that someone's told him, yo, we got to deal with the Sixers. We're going to move up. We're grabbing you at 3. So he's like, why would I waste my time? Why do anything?
So this is something that Jamie brought up the other night when the Panthers clinched that I wanted to get. I wanted to expand this conversation about because we've done it so many times.
The Panthers clinch. I hate everything about this.
So we've done this so many times, on the Flyers show, but I want to expand the conversation to see how people who maybe aren't hyper focused on them all the time.
Jamie goes top 2 worst trades in Philly history.
Is it one? And we just went through the Sixers on draft day. Charles Barkley goes to sleep thinking one thing and wakes up at 4 a.m.
Pat's giving us a lot to think about.
Yeah, wakes up at 4 a.m. because Phil Jasner called him to tell him the organization is drastically different. Right. So maybe this isn't the worst, but is Bob to Columbus the worst Flyers trade ever, at least? It has to be. The guy now...
Well, Solars is still playing.
He is. He is. And the Solars thing, listen, Solars is pretty good. He's never started 30 games, I don't think.
Right.
He is a really freaking good backup. And here comes Jamie now.
Coming in to get in on
Here
this?
we go.
All right. Yeah.
Just the fact that Sergei Bobrovsky comes over from Russia.
Yes.
Excellent rookie season.
We've had Bush on the show who said, as soon as I saw Bob play, I was like, oh, man.
Excellent rookie season. Goes into the playoffs. And listen, he had started, you could see, at the end of 2010-11, he's getting tired. Mm-hmm. And I've heard the story. They were like, Bob, how many games in a row is the most you've played in Russia? And he was like, I don't know. He didn't
too many to count.
He just didn't know
right.
It probably not as many as he now played as a 22-year-old in the NHL for the first time, and spoke very little, if no, English at the time.
Yeah.
Girlfriend couldn't get a green card. His life is an upheaval. Puts together this great rookie season, and then is in the playoffs, which was predictable.
Yes.
As also the locker room fell apart and everyone hated each other. And so the owner goes, well, never having this problem again, and goes and gives an insane person $51 million for 9 years. They're still paying him because it was a 14-year buyout.
What's up, boys? We talking heartbreak?
This has to be one of the worst, if not the worst in Philly history. It's definitely the worst Flyers trade ever.
I think the one that most people seem to go to, Fergie Jenkins came up a lot.
Barkley came up a lot.
Barkley is a hard.
But I think the one that most people mentioned was the De Jesus for Larry Bowa and Ryan Sandberg. Or Ryan Sandberg for that one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you give away the Hall of Famer, but it just.
But Ryan Sandberg never won.
That's the Cubs have that huge drought.
Yeah. So like him winning basically the MVP of one of the toughest two positions in sports, then winning 2 titles on top of it is just like.
That's 2 Vezinas and 2 Cups. The list of guys, it's like 6 or 8 deep, and it's all the best goalies ever.
It's basically the top 10 goalies of all time.
It is your list of the best goalies. Like, it's freaking insane.
It is.
And
it just hurts so much because they've just needed a goalie forever, and they had
and
him.
an undrafted Russian homegrown kid.
You found this guy and just gave it up.
Was that a Snyder? It was Snyder.
Snyder was
Paul
pushing Holmgren to
does
do
the
it,
thing, but like Snyder goes on Comcast Sportsnet and is like, he was embarrassed by the way the goalies were handled in the playoffs, and it was ridiculous. Like Michael Leighton ends up getting a game. It's like, well, you didn't see this going poorly.
Who was the coach at the time?
That was Lavi.
Okay,
because Lavi he was just
playing with some jam.
He was just pulling his goal, figuring someone will work, and it just never did. Like they go 7 with Buffalo and then get absolutely destroyed by Boston. And Snyder goes on TV and goes, "We're never letting that happen again." And so they're like, "Well, who's the best goalie available? I guess it's Briz." $9.51. How's that sound?
Right.
And he went, "Yes."
They're
sounds
still
great.
Are they still paying him
until next year?
2027, July 1st, 2027. He comes off the books. Doesn't count against the cap. It was a compliance buyout. Thank you, lockout. But like 2 years into a 9-year contract, they're like, we got to get out of this.
That's wild. And I think he still lives in the area. Is that right?
I think he's still in Voorhees.
Yeah.
Really?
When it was, I haven't covered.
I've never even seen a slate. No one's ever mentioned they even see him anywhere.
I'm fairly certain he still has Flyer season tickets.
I think you're right.
Essentially,
I think I've seen a picture of him sitting in the stands before.
How do we not have him on?
He'd been bought out for a few years at the time when I was in the press box. I saw him down. If the Flyers' opponent had like Evgeny Kuznetsov or a high-profile Russian, he would always be in the hallway outside their locker room talking to them as if he still worked there. Meanwhile, this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sergei Bobrovsky still winning cups, has aged insanely well. In his 30s, he has averaged 51 starts a year, a .908 save percentage.
That's good, right?
League average this year was like 900, 901.
Okay.
And starting goalies are kind of like pitchers now. There are so few 1A guys. Like no one starts 50, 60 games. Bob does every year. And they just said, "See ya." Nah, sorry. Because he did demand a trade.
Right.
Because
he wasn't
he's
going
saying, I'm going relegated
to
to career backup.
Yes.
He's like, "I'm going back to Russia unless you trade me. I'm
Right.
not doing this." Which makes sense. He wanted a contract at some point in his career. And it's worked out for him. Meanwhile, the Flyers just got the worst goaltending in hockey this past season.
Being the pucks guy that I am, I was watching the clinching
I've been
game
waiting
there,
for your
and they were chanting Bobrovsky, like the teammates and everybody, and I was just like, my heart was just sinking because it's like he was the missing thing that like all Philadelphia sports teams, that cheap, not a huge investment goaltender was sitting there in their team and just poof.
We had the debate yesterday, who's had it harder in the last 15 years.
I think Flyers
fans or Sixers fans. And it's like the Sixers have misses. The Flyers have, we had all these guys. And then we just let them go. Like between Carter, Richards, and Bob, basically the core of the 2010-11 team, 6 cups. That's tough.
It
to deal
does
with.
feel more. I don't know why the Sixers feels more painful.
Because you have the actual pain. The Flyers have been irrelevant basically since 2010 to 2012. The Sixers, but
just numb to it.
I would trade disappointment for irrelevance. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
It sucks for both.
I don't know.
I mean, both suck.
But nobody's winning here.
Like, I don't want an expansion hockey team. I want an expansion basketball team. So I think I don't know.
WNBA? Because that might be your only hope.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, he wants the Sonics.
People are
to come back.
people say Kyle says he sees Briz in the concourse at games.
Yeah.
Joe
I'm
Rocket
pretty sure he
says
still
he
has season
sees him,
tickets.
sees him in New Hope with a blonde.
New Hope.
Yeah, I love Joe Rocket.
It's good. It's good telescoping up there. He's
I'll have
looking
to
for
check it
planets.
out. I'll have to, when I'm there, I'll have to see if I can see him.
If anybody knows Briz, let us know. We'd love to get a hold of him. What would you do in an interview with Briz?
Hey, how's it going?
Turn my mic off.
Anything on your mind?
Go.
What do you think about what do you think about the world?
Yeah.
Let's go to the universe from there.
Yeah. What are your geopolitical takes, Briz?
I saw Briz at like a speaking engagement a few years back. It was like him, Sarah Baker, and Dave Isaac at Bourbon and Branch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And just the funniest freaking
Friend of Sarah
dude.
Baker right here.
Yeah. How much money has he made from the Flyers? Do we what was that contract worth?
It's $51 million. Wow. And he got bought out after 2 years, and you get 2/3 of your money over twice the remaining term. So it was whatever's left over 7
That's
years.
good contract
you get it
knowledge
over
by
14.
you.
Yeah. He's like a little Howie Roseman over
We
here.
have lived
So what's that,
through-
like 36, 37 million?
we have
basically?
lived through a bunch of lockouts. I've had to like study the CBA because you need content when the game ain't on.
I mean, that's the dream, though, right? Like, Briz won life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're the ones that suffer. He's
It's
killing
like,
it.
Like I'm always
Killing
like,
it.
I would love to be like Pat Mahomes backup. And just be like,
Chase
you
Daniel.
don't even have to show up to her.
This guy's just at home. He's wandering around
Yeah,
Newell with a
he
blonde.
doesn't have to show up to her. He's just chilling.
Invest some of that money, you're
Yeah.
set. And
People are saying the Von Hayes trade, which was 5 players.
5 for
Julio
1.
Franco happened to be one of those 5 players. He turned out to be a pretty good player.
Yeah, it's rough.
Just because we're watching the success in real time, and like it was so long ago, but it's still like the humiliation never ends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
people,
the thing.
12, 14 years later, this is still going on.
And it's Florida.
Yes.
Like, come on.
my tweet kind of like blew up, so I got a lot of people that don't follow me, don't know I'm a Zamboner, I'm this idiot hockey fan. And people were like trying to cope with it, being like, well, he wouldn't have developed here the same. The Flyers weren't ready for him. And it was like, I was like, you're coping.
He was great here as a rookie.
You're just coping. Like, I get it.
And he won Vezinas in Columbus.
The year
Not
after.
exactly- Yeah, like not
Immediately.
Not exactly.
Well, Columbus traded him too.
How much
And it's
development did he need?
Not exactly like the Red Wings or Montreal Canadiens here. Like it's Columbus, and he won 2 Goalie of the Year awards. Like I don't know, Florida Panthers up until this current run, kind of a joke.
Yeah.
and now here he is.
Hey, Briz, if you're out there, you want to donate some money to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, man?
Yeah,
we know
that's
you
good
got the
call.
scratch.
That's
Come on, Briz.
Once again,
Let's donate.
this
$1,000. Nothing.
Yeah.
$1,000, nothing.
This whole Spirit Week brought to you by Big Brothers and Big Sisters
Come on,
of
Briz.
America. And we announced at the top of the show, but gotta remind you, first 10 people today to donate $50.
Yeah.
You get a free Diehard subscription for a year.
The
That
whole
is,
package, a box of goodies, shirt, right? You get a shirt in there, some merch. Yeah.
We had Jordan, the CFO, and Vince yesterday. We said, what can we offer the people today? Because we want to beat Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Gotta beat Chicago.
Yeah, we want the top crown of the All-City Big Brothers, Big Sisters fundraiser here. So they came up with 10 free diehards. So $50.
Tax deductible.
Yeah, it's a donation. You feel good about yourself, and it's cheaper than our diehard price right now. So it's a little something we can do to help spice this up a little bit.
I do believe we had a 50-piece
All right.
earlier in the show.
All right. Contact that person.
By Ryan in the chat.
outstanding. That is tremendous to hear as we continue. All donations this week go to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. Either of you ever drive 101 miles an hour?
No. Oh. I've been a passenger in a car at 101 miles an hour.
Have you really?
Yes.
I've hit, I think, 100 as a passenger.
Yeah, I have.
In my young,
I had a
stupid
psycho
days.
friend, Chris, who was like, yeah, let's do this
Yeah.
with the Malibu. I was like, all right.
I may or may not have done 110. Well,
Yeah.
let's go there.
Yeah.
I wasn't the most responsible throughout much of my life.
You've actually driven it? You've put the pedal down and gone?
Yeah. I think like I thought this was like a normal thing because
I think I might have.
After the Shador Sanders story came out and says like grown man with valid license gets speeding ticket. This is a story now.
Yeah.
Like, what car were you driving that you could?
I had the first time it was a Mercury Mountaineer, but a V8.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is that an
thing will rip,
SUV?
dude.
Yes,
You doing?
yeah.
Were you doing?
Yeah, I
triple
shouldn't have
digits
been.
in an
I
It's
shouldn't have
SUV?
been.
uncomfortable going that fast. Like, I can't imagine
Once you
doing that
get
on the
over, like,
regular.
I think the line is 88. Once you get over 88, you are now going way too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember doing it? Like
Oh.
feeling it? Were you rattling it?
Oh
or-
yeah, this thing was not in great condition. That's why I didn't care. and a Nissan Altima as well.
I
That
saw a
was little
Shador
sweet.
meme.
I can see the Ultima doing it. Yeah.
There was a good meme going on that was like, oh yeah, we got overtime.
Yeah, we're
coming
hitting
up.
overtime.
Hitting overtime. Go to allphly.com for more of the show.
Saw a meme that was like, going 101. That's not bad. He was supposed to go 25 and he went 147 about a month ago.
That is not bad. That is not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm calling K-Red. I don't know if I believe this. He says he did 103 in a Ford Tempo.
I mean, it's possible, I guess, right?
He got the turbo boost. And he's fast and
Yeah,
furious.
you get it on plane, man.
got the
You're good
nos.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shador, not the best look after
I just
slipping
like
in the draft.
It's stupid, but I cannot
was he
imagine
driving?
grown man getting speeding ticket.
I think
is a headline.
I think he's got Lambos.
That's easy.
So-
Yeah.
Maybe you don't feel it as much in
No.
the
Oh, that's like a
Lambo.
tap on the. That's a tap
Yeah.
on the gas. Those things are insane.
My buddy had like a Subaru WRX, some souped up one, and you'd get the 90 and it's nothing.
Yeah, the double turbo.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
But you probably want to tone that down.
Yeah, you don't
If
want
you
it.
haven't learned anything,
I just think like
talk to
I don't
Henry
know.
Ruggs.
Well, Henry Ruggs
Jesus,
yesterday
yeah.
got a special. It was like, I was like, of course this comes out on the same day. Henry Ruggs got a special release from prison to go talk to the family.
I saw the headline. It said Vegas event. I was like, what event was he at?
Yeah. Oh, I did
And
see
then
that
it was,
too.
And it was not like he
Yeah.
wasn't at a card show,
No, right.
like, which is what I was like. What is he saying?
Who phrased
Got
it this way?
dispensation to
Yeah.
go sign some autographs?
Motivational speaking.
Yes. But yeah, not a great look. I just thought it was
No.
ridiculous. It was one of the headlines on ESPN.com.
I hope it was at
slow
least
week,
on a
huh?
highway.
Oh, Joe
It
Rocket.
was a highway.
Okay, all
This
right,
was
good.
not like in an elementary school parking lot. Like those are two totally different things.
Yeah.
Joe Rockhead just donated $20.
Yeah,
Joe.
Joe's been a big donator
Joey.
this week. We appreciate you, Joe.
No, it is great to see everyone coming together this week. Yesterday's Streamathon was
Yeah.
awesome.
Ah, that was so much fun
doing
yesterday.
doing the musical chairs.
I love it. Did you catch Brenna's Bill Matz impersonation?
I did. Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they all kind of opened the show as their host?
Yeah.
You got to
look
check
at
it
that,
out.
yeah.
Oh,
Brenna
man.
did her best Bill. It was great.
That's outstanding.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was fun.
and today a lot of fun once again filling in for Gargano here on the Anthony Gargano Show. Anyone got anything else, boys, before we wrap up?
No, we do it back in the day.
Oh right, yes,
it
of
back in the
course.
day.
You got our special intro?
I have our special
So you
intro
know
this
our buddy-
time.
You know
Bill,
Bill.
yeah.
We
Bill's
have a
son.
fan who watches us, so he's got
What is
his
he, 8?
son. 7, I think.
7 or 8?
Yeah, so last time when we played it, the
There's
audio
no
was
volume.
messed up.
Oh,
I
we
had
got
to
the
go back
volume
and like
fixed out.
fix the video. It's fixed.
You let Bill's son down.
Yeah, he was a mess. I thought
Yeah,
it was all-
trust me,
I was
I
like,
felt
he was
bad.
probably
I was like,
crying.
you have no
Frazier,
idea.
it's all Frazier's fault.
You have no idea. I actually felt very bad. But here it is now.
Back, we're going back. We're going back in the day with Uncle Greg.
You got the uncle. Nice.
So I found this
That's
morning.
awesome.
I was like, I need something hockey related because Bill's here. I've never heard this name pronounced this way.
It was a 2-goal game as the Flyers scored again. A first goal for NHL rookie Rick Touchette, one of many he's likely to score. Were the Canadians about to squander a
first goal.
Touchette.
Have you ever heard that?
I have not. Like, even if you were gonna go, like, oh, maybe he's French. Like, that's not how.
Touche.
Yeah, like Touche or like Take. Like, that is not
Touchette.
any sort of. That's nope. Swing and a miss on
Yeah.
that one.
All right, when we eventually get to sit down with him, we got to play that for him. And get his- and get his
Absolutely.
reaction.
Introduce
to
him
that.
as Rick Touchette. New Flyers head coach, Rick Touchette.
I mean, we did it yesterday. I said it today. Like, I can't say Mitsubishi.
No,
That was
Like,
funny.
the hockey names can be difficult.
Yeah.
Tocchet is straightforward.
Seems pretty
That is
easy.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Taki hockey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. All right. And I think that pretty much does it for today.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out.
Great job, Bill.
If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Do it. And set that reminder bell so you never miss when we go live. Super easy. Notifications, boom, you're in. And make sure you continue making your donations to the boys and girls. I did it again. To the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. Thank you very much for their help this week, and to our presenting sponsor, Bet Parks. All right, that's it. I am Bill Matz. That is VG. Thanks to Jamie for joining us here at the end. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.